This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by State Farm Insurance.
Well, come summertime, a lot of people are thinking, hey, let's go outdoors. You know, who knows what? You can do everything from hiking to camping, but you know, with all of that, there's certain dangers, maybe even running into certain wildlife that you don't want to. Well, that's why we're here at the campground with State Farm Insurance agent Gamey Elliott to tell us some things. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Well, you got everything all set up here. This is nice.
Yeah, this is nice.
So we want to go camping. There's some things that we really need to watch out for, which you're going to help us out with. One of those, I guess, is setup.
Well, a couple of things you want to keep in mind when you first get there is try to get there and arrive before nightfall, because you want to be able to pick a place to set up.
Right. In
addition to, you want to be able to unpack, and if you want to start a fire before nightfall, then that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, you just want to really be careful because in this area you don't want to set up a tent too close to water, because the tide could come in. That could be a problem. Also, in addition to that, you want to look up, because you don't want to set up underneath a dead tree and have branches or anything fall on you. And in addition to that, you might want to make sure that you have a plastic tarp to put under your tent so that there's a protective layer between you and the ground.
Well, if it rains, isn't that going to catch the water?
Well, what you need to do is to just make the tarp the size of the tent so that it won't pull extra water and run into the tent. So that's what you do with that.
That makes sense. Okay, so we get the camp set up. Want to go for a hike?
That's my favorite part of camping. I like to hike around. Some things that you should do when you're hiking. First of all, they recommend that you wear long pants and also some very sturdy shoes. Yeah. You want to make sure that you have a hat, you know, and sunglasses. Some things you want to carry with you is some sunscreen. Of course, you want some, bug protection, including DEET. You might need a GPS if you don't have maps or a compass, which is a good way to go. You might want to make sure that you have your, your phone or your iPhone with the proper apps. Carrying some snacks so you could have something to eat. In addition to that, it's really important that you carry bottled water, especially this time of year, because you're going to need to rehydrate. And I see that you also have a tick bite kit here, or a removal kit. Didn't that come from?
Because it came from Cat Willie, as a matter of fact. He doesn't go anywhere without one. Good idea to have.
That's a good idea to have a couple of these things with you when you go.
Okay, so we go out, we go hiking. Now, around here anyway, not that I know of, there's not too many bears.
No, there aren't.
But there are snakes, there are spiders, there's all kinds of wildlife that we could encounter. What do we do?
Well, here's the thing of it, is that you just have to be really careful, because you never know if you're going to come up on something, that is either poisonous or dangerous or could bite you or whatever.
Right.
The main thing, I brought these binoculars because what we want you to do is to view wildlife from a distance. So stay away from wildlife.
Okay.
And if you do go into an area like Western Maryland or wherever where there are bears, you need to know what to do before you get there.
So do your research.
Do your research
Make
beforehand.
sure you know what you're doing. Okay.
Yep.
I've set up camp. I've gone out for my hike. Now I'm famished. I'm starving. I want to go back. I want to make me some dinner. What do I need to do to set up the?
Well, we have a campfire right here. 3 types of wood that you're going to be needing is, first of all, what's called tinder, and that's like the pine shats or the pine needles that we have there.
Right.
Something that would burn very quickly if you went out and you wanted to light a match or use a lighter. Also, in addition, next to it is the kindling. That's the small wood that it's almost a gradual process from the tinder to the kindling, which are sticks, barks, things like that. And in addition to that, you have your general, your fuel wood that you have. That's set up teepee style. And so by the time you get your kindling going, your tinder going, which will help get your kindling going, which will help get your fire going. That's the way to set up a fire.
That'll be your long-term thing. Well, wait a minute, I can go a whole lot quicker. Just give me some newspaper and some lighter fluid. I can get that thing going like this.
Well, the only thing about newspaper and lighter fluid is that they can be dangerous. Well, first of all, they burn sometimes too fast to set the wood up on fire. We really recommend that you stay with the tinder, but the thing of it is newspaper can float up and away, and when you're dealing with lighter fluid, it's a very dangerous situation. So 2 handfuls of your, the kindling and also your tinder are the way to go instead of, we recommend that over newspaper or lighter fluid.
Right. Okay, well, I'm done with the fire. It's summertime. I don't need it for the heat. Can I just leave it burning until it?
You have to be very, very careful. A lot of forest fires get started that way. You hear about all these out in the Midwest. What we really need for you to do, I always have a bucket of water or a gallon of water, not only to put the fire out, but if the fire were to get away from you. And in addition to that, It's just really important to make sure you can shovel some dirt on it to make sure that there aren't any other coals or any embers that are left over. That's very important, not to go to sleep and think that your fire's out. That's one of the most important things.
Okay, so I got here, I set up camp, I've gone for a hike, came back, had my campfire and my dinner. It is time to go to bed. Any tips?
Well, the main thing is they recommend that what you do, and what I always try to do, is to carry extra blankets and also extra layers of clothing to keep you warm if you need that, because it's very dangerous if you take a fuel burning equipment like a lantern or something like a heater and put it in your tent, because carbon monoxide can build up, and so that's very dangerous. So what we really want you to do is we'd rather have you have extra blankets and extra clothing.
Makes so much more sense. Gamey Elliott, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Wonderful advice on how you want to go camping. Now, if you would like to know more about what Gamey just had to say about your camping safety, all you have to do is go to delmarvalife.com. Now, before you go camping, you've got to get the car ready to haul the load. Maybe you're pulling a boat or a camper. There are actually certain hitches meant to pull certain things, and having the wrong one could be dangerous. What you should know before you hook up and head out. And a little bit later on, connecting the pets with a home. Over the past few weeks, we've met some of the animals on Delmarva that are looking for a forever home. We're going to meet a few more loving faces in just a moment. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.